Australia up against Georgia in Pool D. It's fourth up against second, with the Aussies just having that one loss up against Wales. Georgia having lost to Wales as well, plus Fiji on top of that. So Georgia can't make it. It is Australia and Wales going through. It's still yet to be determined as to who's first and who's second, but in all likelihood, it's going to be Wales because they've got one game left, which they will win in all likelihood. So, Australia will temporarily go above them with a victory in this one, but already booked their spot into the quarterfinals with Fiji having a loss. But Georgia still do have it to play for, in that if they win this game, they will go past Fiji into third spot, which guarantees them World Cup qualification for 2023. So, despite the fact that it's a bit of a dead rubber, there's still a little bit of motivation for Georgia to get that 2023 spot, and there's a bit of motivation for the Wallabies to at least go ahead for now, and then just pray that Uruguay can somehow double their miracle work that they did against Fiji, as unlikely as it seems. So I'll put the teams in the description so you guys can have a look. The Wallabies have made a whole bunch of changes. Kurtley Beale's back at 15. Jordan Petaia moves from the left wing to the right wing. He only played 40 minutes last time, but apparently that was a managed strategy, so we'll see how many minutes he gets in this game. Marika Koroibete is back on the left wing. James O'Connor's back in the midfield. Samu Kerevi is up from the bench, although I don't think he came off the bench in that last one. It was essentially a rest for him in that last game, so he's back alongside O'Connor in the mid. Tamua is in there at 10, so they're certainly shifting things up with Lealiifano, Foley and Tamua all getting a run in the 10 jersey, and Nick White retains number 9. In the forwards, Scotty Seo, Tolu, Latu and Kepu is a whole new front row, with Kepu up from the bench. The other two guys back into the squad. Rodda is back into the squad. Arnold's back up from the bench. From memory, I don't know if he got off the bench last time either. Dempsey retains the 6 jersey, which is interesting. Pocock up from the bench to captain the side from 7. And Naisarani is back into the squad at 8, which means Hooper, the regular captain, drops down to the bench. He may not come off the bench if Cheika keeps up this kind of strategy of using the bench as a partial, like a full rest for 80, even if you're still expected to cover just in case of injury. The other reserves, Uelese is still there. Slipper drops down to the bench. Tupou is still there. Coleman drops down to the bench. Genia stays on the bench. Lealiifano and Haylett-Pett also drop down to the bench. The Wallabies played on Saturday, so it's not quite a week, but almost. It's a decent rest between games for these guys. Like I said, they will go ahead of Wales if they get a win here, but Wales have got that game in hand. Georgia, it's a much more stable lineup from the last one. They've had a longer rest. They played on Thursday, so it's just over a week for them against Fiji. Disappointing result for them against Fiji. The forwards couldn't really get on top. They'll target that area again, I would imagine, in this one, but the Aussie forwards are no slouches. Their maul is good and their scrum is good, which is something we haven't always been able to say about the Wallabies, but I think at the moment you can safely say that. They've made minimal changes, like I said. Matiashvili is still there at fullback. Kveseladze and Todua on the wings. Todua has seen a wee bit of ball, which is nice because we typically associate the Georgians with forward play, but the backs have put the odd move on as well. Sharakadze continues to captain from 12. There is a change at 9. They've swapped up Prasadze and Lobjanadze around. So the starting 9 and the backup 9 swap places. The forward pack is essentially unchanged except for Saganadze, who comes into 6. He was on the bench last time, so that means Tikashvili drops down to the bench for this one. The front row is the same. The reserve front rowers are the same except for Milikadze, who comes in as the reserve prop. But yeah, for the most part, the Georgian team is pretty similar to that one that lost heavily to Fiji. So they'll be looking to back up. Like I said, 2023 is on the line for them. It's the first meeting between these teams, which is... That's kind of disappointing that these guys have never met. I mean, Georgia's hardly a minnow team, but I guess that just highlights the gap there is in terms of the playing time some of the Tier 2 nations get against Tier 1 nations. So hopefully for this first game between these sides, it is a good one. Even if it's not going to decide who goes through, there's still a bit to play for both sides. In terms of the predictions, Rugby Forecast, the algorithm has got the Wallabies by 23 points. The bookies going slightly further with Australia by 27. So, yeah, like I said, hopefully it should be a good game. How many cards we get in this one is always going to be of interest, with them being kind of shown pretty regularly this World Cup. Everyone's going to need to keep their tackling low, wrap the arms and all that good stuff. And yeah, hopefully it's a good game. No injuries, please, leading up to the knockout stages. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.